Bobby Santoro of Jersey Sporting News is becoming a regular on this show. He's here now to talk about some local sports. Bobby, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. So, first, high school basketball. We're in the home stretch of the season. Talk about some of the matchups and your playoff predictions for both the boys and the girls.
Yeah, so for me, definitely one of the biggest tournaments, especially, is going to be the Morris County one. There was a big upset with Chatham upsetting Morris Catholic, who was by far and away the number one seed there. They, it was one of, I believe Chatham was the 9 seed. They move on now to the semifinal round, and what they need to do is they need to, really instead of being complacent, and feeling like they got the monkey off their back by beating the number one seed, they got to keep moving. We see teams that have upset number one seed and who lay an egg the next game. I think they can absolutely do it. I think they have faith, and I could see them actually being a surprise to get to the finals, and maybe shaking up the bracket a little bit. In the girls, Morris Catholic again is the girls basketball team is actually the top one. I know they've been running through every team they play. That I think there's going to be just no real upsets in that. I could see that the Morris Catholic girls team just running the floor in that.
Yeah, and you can't be complacent in the playoffs. You always have to be on your toes. Let's move on to the other big high school winter sport, hockey. What can we expect in the playoffs there?
So the playoffs today actually start. I know the Menin Cup is today, which is a big one. You have Randolph, who we've spoken about before. Their head coach did just get his 500th win. They go up against Morris Knowles, which has always been a big matchup. This year, it's going to be a little tough for them to, kind of. I think it's going to be tough for Knowles, which is actually my alma mater, my high school. It's going to be tough for them to kind of come back against Randolph and beat them. It's a little bit too tough. Randolph, I believe, has beaten them pretty handily this year. I think it was 10-4. So I can expect them to go to the finals. Now, where it gets interesting is Morristown Beard is the other one I believe gets to the finals in that cup. And they have played they played Randolph tough the one time they played them. They were up 2-0 and wound up losing 4-2. So if I had to pick, actually, I could see Morristown Beard getting there and upsetting them as well. The other one, obviously, you got Don Bosco, who has been unbelievable in almost every sport this winter. Their hockey team, they just beat Del Barton, to keep moving there. So they're in their Bergen, I believe it's the Bergen Cup, as well. So they are also another team to look out for. This is obviously before states. These are just county tournaments, but it's big. All these games are coming up today, so it'll be fun to talk about next week as well. But yeah, my two big things. I think Morristown Beard wins Morris, and obviously no one's getting through Don Bosco.
No, obviously not. Well, let's talk about your other alma mater, our alma mater, Rutgers. Rutgers basketball, they've had their highs and lows this year. What do you have to say about their performance over the last week?
It's very interesting. I was there on Wednesday, and I got to tell you, it was. Don't get me wrong, I love Rutgers to death. Probably one of the worst basketball performances I've seen. It was, 20 turnovers against Penn State. They couldn't get scoring going. It seemed very bland on the court. Now I know there are big things next year with them, but I just there were so many. There were traveling turnovers. They couldn't hit a shot. They were 1 for 17 from three, which is I believe like 5%. So it was very frustrating to watch. But then again, you see that they go out on Saturday and they don't upset Michigan, but Michigan was a lower ranked team for them, but they go on the road in a Big Ten game and they come out strong and they win pretty handily. So it's interesting. It's a shame because the atmosphere at the rack, or Jersey Mike's is as good as ever. Everyone is. It's a loud environment. It's still like an intimidating place to come play. So hopefully, I don't know how much hope is left for this year, but hopefully that still sparks them and we can get some good, some big wins the rest of the way, and we'll see where the season takes us. But we're all looking forward to next year, obviously.
Well, sticking with this topic, as we head into the final stretch of the season, what college basketball teams would you say have done the best job this year?
Yeah, I think to honestly, the top one right now in New Jersey on both ends, on men's and women's, is Princeton. Princeton has been, I know they're ranked 25 in women's, and they're the highest ranked Jersey team right now in the men's as well. They're not top 25 ranked, but those are the top two ones that have been making the most noise. Seton Hall is another one. I'll actually be going out to see them on Wednesday this week. They've been doing, they've been having a great year. They actually lost a triple overtime game, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, and after that they lost three straight. So they've been reeling a little bit, but they could still come, have a bounce back. They could still, maybe make a run, maybe sneak into the tournament. You never know. But Princeton is by far head over heels been the school in New Jersey that's most likely to represent us in the NCAA tournaments on both ends.
Can't wait to see it. Well, Bobby Santoro of Jersey Sporting News, thanks as always, my friend, and I'm sure I will see you soon. That's been the trend lately.
Absolutely. See you soon, Mike. Thank you.
All right, man. Head over to ONNJ.com for the latest news and sports anytime.